couple of tips on collecting plant material from the field that you want to bring back to the laboratory that have helped us out over the years, especially when dealing with things like vegetable crops or even field crops, would include some of the following. For example, here are some leaves that we've collected from a plant. Let's say we had a leaf spot on some of these small leaves. I like to collect as much of that complete leaflet and some of the stem material as I can, cut it off with a knife so it's a clean cut, and then place that in a variety of plastic bags. You want to have various sizes, like a quart, a gallon, depending upon the type of material you might be dealing with. But you want the bag to be large enough that you can place the plant part in there without having to stuff it in, so that you can place it in something like this. So you've got plenty of room at the top and the bottom. You can put in 2, 3, or 4 pieces of leaves from that same affected area or plant part. Seal it up thoroughly. Of course, have it labeled. Some people will like to use just an identification series of numbers, so 1 consecutively through 100, for example. Have a log book so you can just record sample bag 1 was collected on this date, this time, and at this location, what the crop is, and what you suspect the problem is. So those field notes can be very helpful for you back in the laboratory. Then this bag would then be placed, of course, in something like a cooler. You want to have a cooler with you that has ice or dry ice or something like this in it at all times, so you can keep the specimen cool, out of the direct sunlight, and protected from the field until you get back to the laboratory, where you then want to isolate from that affected leaf to confirm that it is a pathogen or not a pathogen, or maybe to retrieve an insect pest that you found on that affected foliage. The same would be true of roots. For roots from plants that apparently have a root rot, let's say, or a root disease, again, I'll want to extract that root system as carefully as I can, preserve as much of that root, and usually then I will cut off the root at the first node above the ground and have pretty much the entire root system intact that I can place in a plastic bag, well sealed, and put into my cooler. If you're going to be out for quite some time, as the ice melts, you'll get accumulation of water in the container. Sometimes you want to put these bags within a larger bag that's setting upright so that water cannot get into the bag, even though it's sealed, and damage the specimen. On ice like this, plant material, foliage, as well as roots or even fruit parts, can usually retain good vigor, and you can isolate the organism from that affected tissue 24, 48, even 72 hours later. But ideally, you'll be able to get back to the laboratory and isolate within 24 hours.